And the other thing you can do is whenever you've got the stuff down in the footer, you've got some similar things that you need to kind of take care of. So we can go and take care of that as well. So I jump back over to that template dash tags page, and they're around, in my case at this point, around line 123. What you're looking for is the function called Topcat entry footer. And you're going to make some changes. These are going to be, let me close this down, get rid of the search. You're going to make some changes here. So where it starts with if, and it's saying post is equal to get post type, then it's going to do a whole bunch of stuff. Well, right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually comment out a bunch of this code. So let's get rid of this stuff about translators for right now. And I'm basically going to take all of this code right here, and I'm going to just put a comment around it. Let's apply that big long block type of comment. And I'm not sure why that one didn't comment, so I'll just put a comment in front of it. All right, and I'm going to come down. I guess I can also come in here and put something like old original code. All right, so I don't get confused. All right, and so inside of that then, I want to come down and start adding some other stuff. So rather than have you watch me type everything, I'm just going to come up here and right after the if statement starts, I'm going to paste some stuff. And I'm just going to explain what it is that I'm actually doing with this. Okay, so, and I'm going to clean this up by bumping this in like so that it's got proper nesting. All right, so all right, what we're doing here is I'm saying if post is equal to get post type, then I'm going to go ahead and say that the post tags equal, and I'm not saying are they equal, I'm actually saying they are equal. I'm assigning it to get the tags function. All right, and some of this stuff is stuff that you won't really know about. You know, like get the tags is a function. So you would need to go and look up some of this stuff in the codex for, you know, codex.wordpress.org to learn a little bit more about it. I don't want to go into every detail, but you can always go look that stuff up. And so after you get the post tags and you store that into this variable called post tags, we're going to echo out a div where the class is equal to tag links. And right here, we're just going to have a list of tags is what we're going to start doing. So we're going to create tags, and then we're going to start with a span tag and a couple of non-breaking spaces, and then I'm going to end that string right there. And then I'm going to put a conditional statement in here that says, okay, if post tags is true, for each post tags as tag, so we're going to go into a loop, into a for each loop, and we're going to echo out for every single post tag that exists, we're going to echo out a little icon that is called fa-tag. So it looks like a little, you know, taxonomy tag. And then with a couple of spaces, right? And then we're going to have a link that is going to take us to the tag. It basically says get the tag's link, all right, and for that particular ID, and it's so that creates the URL that it's going to take us to, and then here is the place that would be the clickable name, right? Because you see that this is the beginning of the A tag right here, and then it concatenates with the clickable name that you would see on screen, and then it concatenates with the ending of the A tag and a couple of non-breaking spaces again. All right, and then after it goes through that for each loop, right, creating that entire long list of tags or however many tags that there are, it's going to echo the ending of the span tag and the beginning of a div tag. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's save this, and here let's get like that. Make some extra space, save this, and let's put that up there and see how we fare on this. And whenever I hit refresh, I want to show you, see how this looks different. We've got tags, and then for each one, it's got like a little tag next to it. And then we've got the edit button down here. So, which is fine that we have it in both places. It's not a big deal. All right, and so that's not bad. All right, that gives us a pretty good a pretty good start on getting these tags up and running. And the thing also that I would say is, like, let's say that we did want to click on this and go to this page. One of the things that you'll notice down here at the bottom of the page or the post is you'll see right here we've got these little icons, these little arrows that say, you know, back a page and then forward a page to go to the next post. And just so you know, that information can be found if you go back to our Dreamweaver or whatever you're using, and we look in template-tags.php. For me, it's around line 42, and what you're looking for is the function of TopCat PostNav, and this is the information that you can adjust to make this look a little bit different. So you can make it a little bit spicier. So specifically right down here on my line roughly 55 through 56. If I copy this, all right, and I put it in my clipboard already, so I'm gonna apply a comment to comment all of that out. That's the original stuff, all right. Then what I can do is I can come in and I can paste it, and I can start making some updates and changes so that this would look a little bit different. So what I would do first is immediately add right after this _x inside of the string right before the span tag where it says span class equals metanav. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to paste something in, and then I'll show you what I wrote. It's another icon, so it's I class equals FA, and then the one that really determines what it is FA-arrow-left, so that's going to be for the previous. And I'm choosing FA3, which is going to be a larger version. And so then I've got a couple of non-breaking spaces. And then I've got I'm leaving the span class equals metanav there. But then this is the thing that's clickable on the screen where it says ampersand LARR semicolon. That's an HTML entity for the back arrow. And so instead of that, I'm going to have the word previous, and you can either put it in all caps or lowercase, whatever. I'm going to type the word previous in all caps because I know that I'm going to end up wanting to make it capitalized because I want to make it a little bit heftier. And so then the next thing, though, that I am going to change that's different is going to be the section that comes after that span, right? So the stuff where I'm going to be dealing with the title. And so I'm going to, this part right here that's the non-breaking space and then title, I'm actually going to put something right before it. So I'm going to put a break so that it drops down to the next line, and then a span tag that has a class of postnav title, so postnav dash title, and then also there's a space after that. So I'm going to have also postnav title prev for previous, and then this is where this would print. Okay. So that means that I need to end this part with a span, and I want to do it inside the string, so I'll say end span like that. And then I've got something that's going to be a complete span, and because I've got that span, I can create all sorts of CSS styles and stuff like that. And then I'm going to leave this last argument as is, right? This last set of information. Now that I have this done, this is really hard to read, right? So where it starts to print the _x, right? This is where it has a lot of information that I've changed. So that's the one I'm going to drop down. And so I'll keep this icon here like this with the non-breaking spaces next to it. And then I'll go ahead and drop the span down so it's easier to see. I'll drop that break tag down. I'll drop this next span tag down because it just starts getting confusing to look at. And then I will leave this the way it is because this will print with these carriage returns, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. And then that's just easier for us to kind of see the order of events. And the reason that's going to be helpful, let me show you kind of, you know, the styling that I actually want to use. So this is sort of a picture that I kind of made that I would like to have happen. You know, this is the way that I'd like to have the styling happen so that you know, if you look at the previous, it's got the icon, then the word previous, then it's got the name of the title for the previous ID that it's going to go to. And if you look at that, it's reflected here. So it has the icon first, right? Then it has the spaces, and then it has the word previous. And if you sort of look at that, so icon, the word previous, and then there's the break, right? So break, and then the next line, it gives you this title right here. Okay, well, if you look at the way that it's going to be over here for next, it's going to be a little bit of a different order. First of all, let me fix these extra spaces. I don't know why there's there, but they shouldn't be there. All right, so the word next, first of all, I don't have the word next yet. It's right here where this HTML entity is. That's where the word next is going to go. And if you remember what I showed you before in the previous one, is that the HTML entity for this one, ampersand RARR semicolon, is an HTML entity that will create a little, visual arrow, and it's not a very pretty one, so we're going to use the font awesome thing later instead of that arrow, but for right here we're going to use the word next in all caps. Okay, so now if you look at the way that the order of events is, whenever we encounter this, it's going to be the word next first. So I'm going to take the word next along with its span tag information. I'm going to cut that, and that's going to be the very first thing that happens here inside of this string, where it's underscore x and then it starts the string right here. I'm going to paste that span tag with class of meta nav and the word next inside of it. All right, and then the next thing that I'm going to have happen is I'm going to be putting in that icon that's going to go right next to it. And so I'm going to copy this one that's up here, and actually it's going to have some spaces first, so I'll copy the spaces, and then I'll go ahead, I'm going to drop this down and then I'll drop this down, I'll put the spaces there, and now is where I would put that icon. So let me grab the icon from up here, and I'll copy that, and then I'm going to put it right next to those spaces, and then instead of arrow left, it's going to be arrow right. All right, and then the scale is going to be FA3, so it'll scale it up, make it a little bit bigger than normal. All right, and then the last thing, if you were to look up here, what wraps the title is a span tag that has this class in it. Let's just copy this. It has actually a couple of classes, so let's put that right here before this percent title. All right, and then it's going to be, the first class is postnav title, that's fine. And then the next one is postnav title prev. We're going to change this to the word next, because that's going to be a different style. And then we need to end that span tag right here. Okay, so having this little picture file right up here is sort of helpful in seeing the order and how the order is supposed to go. Otherwise, this is pretty confusing. And so if you wanted to make it, really clear, you could do like we did up above, and you could drop this down, and then you've got all of these things on different lines. Oh, and I forgot the break tag. So the break tag, if I take cues from the previous one, the break tag is going to go after that arrow, right? So it'll go right here, so that the name of the clickable link is going to go next. All right, so I'm going to save this file. We'll go ahead and we'll upload this. Let's put that up there, and we can go to our browser. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh. And all right, and it doesn't look exactly like our other thing yet because I haven't actually styled this, but it does look a little bit better. It's a little bit easier to see. And if I were to go here and do an inspection, all right, I could easily get some styling going here. And just to prove my point, I'll click this plus symbol, and I'll go over here to my inspector style sheet, and I'm just going to paste some stuff in that I already queued up. And you can see right off the bat, if I use, these are a bunch of grouped selectors. So MetaNav, the anchor tag inside of MetaNav, the A visited, the A hover, the A active state. I've given all of these essentially like a, let's scroll back up. There we go. I've given them all some similar styling and went ahead and made them, you know, set up like this. So, you know, and then I've got some problems where I still have hover stuff, you know, so I could add some more rules, for instance, like that. And then now the hover goes away, and I've got, you know, like some italics going on for the name of the page, and I've got the color is different for the things that are, you know, these icons and so on. So it's starting to look a little bit different. So if I wanted to get rid of that, oh, and also maybe do some other stuff to the post nav title, I'm going to paste that in, right? So that we can just really quickly take a look. So this is the way that I changed the hover, so that now if I hover it, everything does turn blue, okay? So you could have it turn any color you want. But then for the post nav title, and also post nav previous and right, post nav next, I wanted to give them some additional spacing, make sure they're display block, and I also wanted this to also be an Oswald regular, so you can see that looks a little bit nicer. So I changed the font style. I got rid of the italics. I decided that that wasn't good. So I could actually get rid of this up here. I can get rid of that, and that looks pretty good. And then lastly, I think I'd like to outline this, you know, by maybe having a border above and below it. And so, you know, finally could come down here and let's just paste that in. And you can see I've got this nice outline now that separates this, where I'm identifying the post navigation class that's inside of the navigation class that's inside of nav. Okay, so and to figure that one out, here I'll just select all of this and put it in my clipboard. But to figure that one out, you can see that this is the entire block right here, and you can see it's called post navigation. And so, you know, you can find your way up and then, you know, figure out what these classes are. And so that looks pretty nice. And if I were to go just jump over here in Dreamweaver, I would want to find the navigation section, and it's 5.01 in my style sheet. So I'm just going to paste that stuff there, paste it, and then I can put a little comment here, and let's just make the comment say the following rules are for the post navigation beneath each post. And I can put next and previous, so it's a little bit more obvious. All right, so I can save that, upload it. I'll put that up on the server, and we can do a test by here. I'll close this and I'll refresh the page, and it should stick. Let's try to do that again as a hard refresh, and there we go. And it's showing up now, except that something's there. Finally, our Font Awesome just loaded. So we've got these look pretty good, and I'm happy with that. And we've got all of our tags and stuff. So anyway, this is how you can start to do some cool stuff with icons. You could also do it over here if you wanted, but I'm not gonna get that deep into it.